Alright, for everyone who's been asking, here's the video of everything under the tank. Give you a little tour here. So we'll start with where the water comes down. So with the center overflow, there's 3 drains here. The one on the left is the drain. The one in the center is the return, and the one on the far is another drain, but I have it plugged up right now. At some point, I don't know if I'll mess with that. Maybe not. Anyway, tank drains down into the first chamber here. And that's where we have the Reef Octopus skimmer, which is a monster. I think it fills up about once a week. And it goes through here into the second chamber. That's where we have the refugium. Down here I have a bag of carbon. It's usually my most preferred way of dosing the carbon, is just in a bag like that. This is all the Chaeto, which grows like crazy. And it grows under just one of these cheap Chinese LEDs. Usually I have those going at night on opposite schedule, but I turned it on today so you guys could see it. And here is a UV filter, the UV light, and this is the first tank I've ever used it on. And I had a outbreak a while back of really bad ick and velvet, and I know that's always in the tank, but since I've added the UV filter, the UV light, it really has cut down on all that. So I know it's still there, but you just can't see it right now. So after this chamber is the return. And there's the return pump back there. Pumps up. And it looks kind of full under there. So the green hose right there splits off, and that's the 60-gallon frag tank, and I'll show you that in a second. And, this is the calcium reactor. I actually have the gas shut off right now because I need to go fill the tank up again. So back there is the Apex dose reservoir for the calcium and alkalinity. And up there's the pump. And actually off the return I have a split, one of these splits up here goes off to the chiller, which is up in the corner, back there facing the other way. And then the return for the chiller comes down, and currently has it going through this little reactor here. I have some carbon in there. I think I'm actually going to get rid of that because it's a pain in the butt. I can't seem to keep it clean, so I'm just going to continue doing the carbon in the bag. I like that better. Another thing I'm going to change today, see all this clear tubing? See all that beautiful algae right there? Yeah, we don't like that because it grows in the light. So I bought some dark black tubing I'm going to replace all that with so I can eliminate the algae. So that's about it. So let me show you the frag tank. So the green hose splits off here and goes on the side into the frag tank. And it's 60 gallons. And currently I just have a bunch of stuff that I didn't have room for in the main tank. And yes, that's a trigger. And no, he hasn't bothered any of the corals yet, but I am keeping an eye on him. It's an awesome fish. We were snorkeling in Maui last month and saw these, and I picked one up at my local fish store. Awesome fish. So down below I have another tank that I picked up from another local guy. And I'm just using it as the RO top off. And recently, with all the heat out here and the chiller kicking on and off, I think it's made like a surge, and it cuts the power off. So then I got to run outside and flip the breaker. But if no one's home, I was thinking, got to get one of these. So I have this hooked up to the whatchamacallit, which brings us to the Apex. So I hooked it up like this just out of necessity and haven't really cleaned it up yet, but that's on my list also. but pretty cool gadget. Works all right. So one of these return lines from the return pump also splits off and it goes off into a 1-inch C-swirl. Which is pretty cool. Now the lights. So throughout the years I've always used metal halides and they've worked perfectly. And a couple years ago I came across these Hydra 52s and I started using those. Now obviously, you know, the LEDs aren't quite as bright as the metal halides, and I did notice some slowdown in my growth. Colors are awesome in these, but I wasn't getting the growth, so I ended up putting back two of my 250 watt 20K halides. I've got one on this side of the tank and one on that side. Then the LEDs run down both sides because of the center overflow. And I've got these T5 actinics up here that this is not hooked up yet. That's it. Overall, it seems to be doing really well. Everything's happy, which makes me happy. Some Anthelia up there. These green hairy mushrooms grow like crazy. Big Duncan colony up there. There's another big Duncan colony down here. There's the torch. It's not really colorful, but it started off as one head, and I think there's like 3 or 4 heads on there now. Leather keeps growing and touching on the glass, as you can see right there. I did that before and I cut a little piece off of this side, which I was a little afraid to do, but grew back nicely. And I just transplanted that piece up there. It's growing back great. This Orange Monty colony, it started off as about the size of a quarter about 2 years ago. So I have it on the end here under the halides, metal halides, and it really likes those. So I'm not going to move it. And there's a Hollywood Stunner chalice back there. Overall, everything's really happy. Alright everyone, thanks for the comments and all the questions. I've been doing reefing for about 18 years, and I'll tell you what, that doesn't mean anything. That just means you make more mistakes than the next person. So always learning new stuff and always welcome suggestions. So thank you guys.